Back on the road, but drove 150 miles to a pickup that ended up getting canceled. Officially gave Turquoise my notice today. Did get my hazmat on my license. Dealing with the truck issue, the pickup truck issue with the alternator. And speaking of truck issues, the maintenance that got done in Colby last week didn't completely fix the issue. More maintenance as far as that goes. Trying to do a quick fix on the leak. So much more on this episode of
the Clutch Trucker Channel.
Clutch Trucker, filmed before a live and furry studio audience. That is Rusty, the world-famous meatball dog. Hey YouTube, Clutch Trucker here. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of the Clutch Trucker Channel. Well, here I am sitting at, I even know what it's called, Galloway Group. Of course, on my Raycon, it was listed as Telecom Specialties. But it was a load through Nolan Transportation Group, NTG. Almost every time I've done a load for them, it's been a load with hair on it. Big trouble. And sure enough, I told my wife before I left the house this morning, I was like, you know what? I don't feel good about this load because I've had bad luck with this broker before, and sure as crap, not surprising. I get down here, and well, let me show you what it is. Yeah, see, giant rolls of conduit that really requires a flatbed. And they said, well, we've always loaded them on flatbeds. I don't see how we'd put it in a dry van because each roll weighs about 300,000 pounds. And we'd be afraid to get it. They don't have a ramp. They don't have a dock. So they said, well, I don't see a way to get it in there. Then we'd have to roll it. And I don't want to smash some of my guys trying to roll these things back. And I'm like, yeah, and I don't want it smashing through the front of my trailer if you lose control of it. So they called, I guess, the broker and canceled the load. So the load is canceled. I drove 150 miles down here for free to take this load that already didn't pay well. It had 4 stops in Mississippi at 4 different power companies. It was only going to pay me about $1.46 a mile, which doesn't pay enough to run the truck. That would cover the fuel and part of the maintenance and insurance for running the truck, but not only about half. And I would have made no money. They took it just to get me out of the house, I guess. You know, this is why I'm making a change. And I officially announced to Turquoise Trucking today that I am leaving them. Nothing against them. They've been good to me over the time. I've been with them almost 5 years. They've been good. The rates right now are just terrible, and I can't keep, bleeding money like this. So, yeah, I told him I've got my hazmat back on my license. By the way, my TSA thing came through within 2 days. I took that fingerprinting and everything on Tuesday at noon. By 10:30 a.m. Thursday morning, I had the approval. So apparently, eligibility determined, as I talked about in my last video, meant I was approved. So I was able to go get my license finalized and everything. Of course, I don't have the actual plastic laminated license because Wyoming sends them to Georgia to get them done. I just have the piece of paper that says all that. But it's still the legal license. It's just, I don't have the actual little laminated one. It takes 4 to 6 weeks to get that in the mail because they send it to Georgia. Because Wyoming's too cheap to buy their own machine to make them, apparently. So that's how that goes. But got that all finalized and everything, and so I'll be ready to switch to my next carrier, who is a hazmat carrier, and hopefully we'll get some better paying loads, and I can keep doing this. If that doesn't work, well then we're going to be looking at a lot of different options. But that's what I'm trying for now. So anyway, here we sit in Parker, Colorado. If you don't know, that's kind of northeast of Castle Rock, Colorado, which is south of Denver. And yeah, so the load's been canceled, and Turquoise is trying to find me another load right now. The rates are terrible. There was one that they had picking up in Windsor, Colorado, back, like 70 miles north or more, going to Wisconsin, that would have paid $1.39 a mile. And I'm like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. There are some loads that are paying less than $1 a mile. Doesn't even pay the fuel for the truck. So I have a feeling they're not going to find anything today. For those of you scoring at home, when I had my breakdown in Colby, Kansas, and I got that part that Jim so nicely went and got for me, that then the mechanic said, oh, well, it's not that one, it's this other valve, and so they had to go to Oakley to get that one, and they put that on. But on my whole way down here, I was still hearing air rush through my yellow. Let me show you. This valve right here, that's the parking brake valve. Still hearing air rush through that one, more so than it should be. Watching my air gauges, dropping as I'm driving. They would go a little above 100, then back up. Air dryer kicks off, and they would start dropping again. So what all that means is there's still an issue, and probably they should have gone ahead and replaced that whole ABS modulator valve, is what it's called, in addition to the one they replaced. So, because the same thing could happen to me again, where if all of a sudden it completely fails, I lose all the air pressure, and then the brakes kick on, which is bad, because then you're stuck wherever that may happen. So my plan was, once I got loaded here, I was going to go back through Oakley, Kansas, hope I could make it, because I knew they had the part, and have them put it on. Well, now the load's canceled. So I've called around, and All Truck and Trailer Parts in Denver has one. It's actually cheaper than it would have been in Oakley. So if I don't hear anything within the next 45 minutes or so, I'm going to go ahead and drive up to Denver, pick up that part. Maybe I'll reserve a spot at the Johnstown Petro, because you could reserve one at the TA in Commerce City, but that place is such a clusterfuck. No. And more than half of that lot is reserved, which means it's not like you're getting a better spot or anything. It's always just a complete chaos there. I'd rather drive further north and park someplace a little more decent. What do you think? So yeah, if I don't hear anything soon, I'm just gonna go up, pick up that part so I have it with me. So wherever they may send me, somewhere along the way, I can maybe get that done. I called the Freightliner in Cheyenne, and they don't have one. And they said it would be a month to get it. So I might as well go pick it up in Denver, where it's cheaper than Oakley. And then if they don't find me a load, for this weekend, I'll just go back home, and I'll have Sapp Brothers, who I trust in Cheyenne, put the part on for me. At least I'll be home, I'll have the part, and like I say, I can be back home. If I'm not going to make any money, I might as well just freaking go back home. But I'll give it a night in like Johnstown or something, because most likely whatever I'm going to get, if it's tomorrow, is going to be back down that direction towards Denver somewhere. So I've already driven 150 miles for free today. If I don't have to drive all the way back home for free, so 150 miles, and it costs, just in fuel, $1 a mile to run this thing. So that's $150 I just lost. So let's kind of stop the bleeding if we can, and not bleed too much more before they find some other lousy load for me to pick up tomorrow, because the rates are so terrible. Trying not to lose it, trying not to lose it. And just trying to get out of Denver, they got this SUV loaded on a tow truck all beat up, and they had the highway completely shut down. Look at all that traffic stacked up behind it, and that goes on for quite a ways. Nope, somebody lost a tire. Shrapnel all over the road here. Looks like that's the culprit. Oh yeah, his steer tire's gone. And now the ever-famous clutch trucker zoom and slow-mo. Well, there's some other wreck that's on the southbound side, so good Lord. People can't seem to drive today. You gotta love it, and I guess that's why we were all slowing down going northbound for the last 10 miles. Friday afternoon in Colorado, some of the worst traffic around, I tell you. Well, I did get to Denver, got my part picked up. Bo did find me a load that it's not picking up till Sunday in Golden. Empty cans going to Georgia. Thursday, which means the cutoff for the pay each week is Tuesday. That means I won't have a load on this week, and yet I'll owe money for fuel. You know, and now I've got to do this other repair again. Bleeding continues. Hopefully when I make the change, things will get better again. That's all I can hope. Because right now it's terrible. I was trying for another load that local picked up tonight at 11 o'clock in Aurora, delivering to 4 different stops in the Fort Collins area tomorrow. Well, Denver and Fort Collins in the morning. He put in a bid for $12.50. Look at that traffic backed up on that southbound side now. Crazy. Anyway, it was about an hour and a half ago. He said, well, we should hear on that one within 2 hours. Haven't heard anything yet. So I'm continuing on up to Johnstown, where I reserved a spot. And he's staying there. If they call about that one, fine. If not, I'll hang out, put this video together, and go to bed. Drive home tomorrow and try to get this repair done again. Probably should have been done, you know, correctly that first time, but they thought it was just the one valve, when now it's going to be the other one. I got it a little cheaper in Denver than what it would have been in Oakley, Kansas, so try to look at the positive. It's getting pretty damn difficult, but there's one right there. So I think I'm about 237, 254. So I'm less than 20 miles now from the Johnstown Petro. So there you go, yeah. Glad I'm not going southbound. I've just been sitting in traffic all day. I've already driven over 208 miles today for free. By the time I get home tomorrow, that's going to be 260 or more. So I was gone all day, driving all day. Load gets canceled, driving back up, and I've worked all day for free. This shit's got to change, baby. It's got to change. Man. Like I said, it's not going to surprise me if soon everyone's just going to quit trucking. Then try to get stuff at your store. You think they're empty now, baby. Gotta love it.
Exit 254 on the right toward Colorado 60 West, then take the first left.
Alright, well, here we are coming up to the Petro in Johnstown, where I reserved a spot, used points so I didn't have to pay money, cash money for it. Since today I've driven well over 200 miles absolutely for free, which means somebody has to pay for all that fuel. Me. So, losing a day of losing money. Boy, that's fun. That's fun. Go to work and lose money all day. So, anyway.
Turn left on Southeast Frontage Road, then take the first right.
Alright, thank you, Garmin. So, we'll just get on in there. I've already reserved the spot. I'm not fueling now. The fuel's supposed to go down another 5 cents or something after midnight. And I've got well over a half tank. I don't know where I'm going yet. Well, except I know I'm going to Georgia on Sunday from Colorado, but still don't know if that other one's going to come in tonight. I don't think it will.
Arriving at Petro Johnson's Corner on the right.
Okay, you're done, Garmin. You can hush now. They've only got 12 reserved spots here, so I reserved one earlier today when I saw it was down to like 4. They're right across from the fuel island here, so we'll get in here and get ourselves parked. The ones directly ahead of me are the ones I like the best. I'll take one of the ones across from the scale. That's at least a place I'm guaranteed where I can't get blocked in. Because so many truck drivers are idiots and all about themselves. They don't care. They'll block somebody in anytime. So I do not want to be blocked in. So I think I'm going to drive the wrong way into the scale here and back into that spot right across from it. easiest way to do it. Wait for this guy to come around behind me. Alright, hopefully that other truck coming in will let me get backed in first. Get my tickets, so I'm legal, and all that good nonsense. No one can hassle me. Alright. So here we are parked at the Petro in Johnstown, Colorado. After I got parked here, took Rusty out, went in to go to the bathroom, got my reserved parking ticket, hung that up in the window and all that. And was here for a little bit. Then I finally got a text from Bo saying no, that he was trying to work on those other loads, the real short ones that might give me at least $1,200. Well, they didn't. They lost the bid on those, which he had to bid on these loads, and so he was putting in an amount that he thought was at least worth it. That he wasn't going to make me drive super cheap. But yeah, we didn't get any of those. So now it's just down to this load on Sunday. Going to Georgia, which doesn't deliver till Thursday, of course, means I pass the pay period cutoff. So a week from Tuesday, then of course I'll have no check, no loads on that, and I will owe them money for fuel. So, oh my God, the bleeding is just ridiculous. By the time I get home tomorrow, I will have driven almost 300 miles, absolutely free. Okay, can't say that absolutely free, because we got a TONU, which if you don't know, that's Truck Ordered Not Used, from Nolan Transportation Group, NTG, that they gave us $150. Of course, Turquoise takes their 15% of that, which I don't think is quite fair on that, because they didn't drive it, but what are you going to do? So I'll get about $127 to pay for driving almost $300 worth of miles and wasting my entire day. So I worked all day, sat in traffic all day, and I'm still losing $173. So I had to spend $173 of my own money all day to work and be away from home and not earn any money at all. Try not to completely lose it. And now, of course, I have to do this other repair again tomorrow. At least I'll do it at the local shop, Sapp Brothers, which doesn't charge as much. They do everything right the first time, thank God. But there's more bleeding before I even start making money again. And ever since they had the trailer issue, after I got empty in North Carolina, was driving south to my next pickup in Charlotte, traffic was backed up. I had to hit the brakes, and my trailer wheels locked up. They obviously didn't adjust the slack adjuster, is what it's called, on the brakes correctly in Binghamton, New York. Flat spotted my tires a little bit, so that's fun. The new tires I just paid for, and so now every time I'm trying to slow down, especially when I'm empty and there's no weight on that trailer, they keep wanting to lock up. So I'm going to have Sapp Brothers readjust my brakes again, so I'm going to have to pay for that. So sorry this is nothing but bad news, but boy, I'm tired of it. Wow, am I tired of it. Just all these repairs, bleeding out, not getting paid for my loads, not making any money. So if trucking continues this way, don't be surprised when thousands and thousands of truckers just give it up. I'm damn near to that point, but I'm trying now first, because I said, like I said, I got my hazmat on my license. I'm going to switch to a hazmat carrier. I got to talk to him first to see if he'll want me to really reveal all that information, but that's 2 weeks away. My last day with Turquoise will be the 29th, and then hopefully on August 1st I'll start with a new company, and hopefully start making some money, because this has been a month or more of just working and not making any money, and not only that, having to pay. You can't support a family that way. You just can't. So, sorry if I'm sounding negative, but wow. I keep trying to remain positive, but it's getting harder and harder. So that's where we stand. So on Sunday, I'll drive back down to Golden, Colorado, where I grew up, and pick up a load of cans. It's from Coors. I know it is, even though it doesn't say that on the Raycon. Who else is making cans in Golden, Colorado but Coors? And taking them down to Albany, Georgia for a Thursday delivery. I could make it easily in 3 days. It's about 1,600 miles, and that wouldn't even be 3 long days. But I have to wait till Thursday to deliver. And that'll pretty much kill one of my last 2 weeks at Turquoise until I switch carriers and all that. So there's where we stand on everything. Oh, by the way, yeah, the pickup did get a new alternator in it. There was $500. More bleeding, and that's not even related to my job. That's just, life. My wife is being fairly good. She's the one who handles all the money, and all our credit cards are maxed out. It's like, what do we do? So I'm hoping this change will make things better. We can only hope. And for those of you scoring at home, because I was saying in the last video that I was going to try to, build that whole pitched roof thing over the extension box here in the remodel to try to finally finish, stopping that leak issue. Well, I ran out of time on Thursday, because then I ended up having to go back to the DMV and finalize my driver's license. I had to take the drug test for the new job. We had to deal with the pickup and getting that over so it can get repaired, yada yada yada. So that evening, early evening, while it was still sunny out, my son and I, Justin, did climb up there on top of the box to see what we could do, and I had some caulk that I bought, and I did put that in the seam on the fiberglass that goes up over the cab and down the back, where I really think that's where all the water's leaking in, because that seam is there and the Gorilla Tape is in front of it to create that kind of a rubber splashing, but that water can still get down in that little seam, and I think that was the issue. And there's one on each side that's going vertically down, and there's a one on the top that goes across, and maybe because of the box now, water as I'm driving is getting pushed around and back up into that one. So we caulked those two seams that are vertical. Then we put the Gorilla Tape over the top, running down to the box, and then we put a Gorilla Tape across the back of the box. I got some pictures that will kind of help explain it. All right, here you can see there's that seam right there, and there's the seam going down vertically there, and looking back at the top of the box from the back of the truck. And then, of course, my wife took some pictures of me and my son up there. You see him standing up there with no problem. I'm hanging on desperately as I'm up there, because I'm 55. He's, 20. I mean, yeah, he's a little more fearless. But what I can say is, looking at the repair we made before, where we made that little splash, flashing essentially out of the rubber, out of the Gorilla rubber tape, seal and stuff, you can see how it's still really good on the top of the box. And even if water was pooling there, you can tell by looking at the, kind of the dusty, the water leaves behind kind of the stains. I don't think that's where it was leaking. I really think it's those two vertical things. And we did caulk around all those screws that are coming from the fairing up around the top, and I think that might have been an issue too. So we caulked all that. We put the other Gorilla Tape on the seams, and I have yet to see if that's, did anything. I ran into a little light rain today, but that isn't enough to prove it. And of course, I didn't want to test it yet until all that had dried and everything, so maybe I'll do that over the weekend. But that might have just fixed it well enough. I still want to put the pitch on there for the winter months when it snows. So when the snow lands on there, it's not landing on a flat box, it'll land on a pitch. So that's where we are in the whole leak issue. What can you say? Gotta love trucking. Well, gotta love it. I'm not liking it right now, but hopefully things will get better soon. we've officially announced our transition, so there you go. Right, Rusty? Let's hope things get better, buddy. If not, we're parking it. And there's going to be a lot more people that are doing that. And if so, you know, you think you can't find stuff in the grocery store now or in other stores. I couldn't even find them in Credibites yesterday at our local grocery store. They're still out of it. So, you know, think things are bad now. Just wait. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. As always, please subscribe. Please like and comment. I get your comments as soon as I can. Sometimes takes a couple days because I'm a working truck driver. Maybe. There's Clutch Trucker at Instagram, Clutch Trucker on Twitter. And as always, sniff that magic YouTube fairy dust. Clutch and Rusty, out. Dad, you're doing it wrong. Tell me I'm doing it wrong. I know how to do this. Oh, what is this? This is nuts. All right, he's eyeing that strip. No, come down. You know, I haven't thrown it yet. Get down here. All right, now, yeah, there you go. There it is. Yep, he's all about it. And why? Because he's a big and stripped dog. He's a big and stripped dog. Sometimes he eats too fast and it starts to cough. He's a big and stripped dog. All right, you gobbled that first one down? Almost. Ready for your next one? Well, there you go. Happy dog. Gobble, gobble, gobble. All right, Rusty.